Welcome to Tanakh Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live from Kingston, Texas, USA. Another episode of TNT Expose with Rabbi Stuart Federow from Houston, Texas. Welcome back, Rabbi. How are you, kind sir?
Doing okay. How are you?
Good. Let's get that finger dance in before we forget.
I thought we were saving it for the end.
Sometimes I'll forget at the end, though, so I figure we might as well get it in early. That's all right. All right, enough of that right now. Let's just do it. Instant. Hit the brakes. No, you can't do that. You just got to go a faded brake. Like, you know, it's got some like delicate grace to end this thing off with. All right, there you go. Awesome. Jay, Michelle, and Michael Arlen, first two on the scene. Hello, guys. How are y'all? Actually, maybe not. First two in chat, though.
I hate this new way of doing this, where it's on the bottom and I can't see the chat at the same time I see the.
We need to get you set up with two monitors so you can have. No, I'm serious.
Too fancy. I don't need
it's
that.
Not about fancy. It's about accessibility. Once you have two monitors on there, you're gonna think,
here it is.
"Gosh, I wish I'd done that years ago." I promise you. Wally Cleaver, hello, Shadman, Raymond, Darlene, welcome. Yes, Shadman, you can call in. Thank you for asking, because tonight is a call-in show. So let me get that turned on real fast, because I don't have it turned on yet, and then you can call in. So, okay.
Hey, Christo. Hey, Jay, Michelle. Hi, Darlene. Hi, Raymond. Hi, Shadman. Hi, Wally.
I'm looking in the video, and I'm so fluffy right now. This COVID and this whole winter storm thing got me like, I don't know, I was eating so much, I feel so bloated. I need to lose some weight.
Oh, this whole COVID thing, I gained about 25 pounds.
Wow.
I lost about 17 pounds.
Gotcha.
But I still have, well, it was more than actually. It had to be more than that.
Rabbi, do me a favor. Hang on 1 second. Sprint is calling me. Hello. I don't need you now. Thank you. That was a voicemail callback. They had a SIM card issue earlier, and I couldn't make or receive calls like all day today unless someone was on Wi-Fi, and it was all messed up. So finally got that worked out. Hello, Crystal Cheney. How are you, buddy? I'm not fluffy. I'm well fed. You know what? That may be true. Hey, Yasmin. Devin, welcome. Well, the doctor says you should, watch your weight, so I'll put it out in front of me where I can find it. There we go. Let me turn my.
Shadman, call in if you want.
I think he is right now. Let me.
Good, okay.
There's a caller online right now, but give me 1 second. I got to mute my phone because this thing's going to keep ringing all night long. I know it is. So let's put this on mute. There we go. Okay, now that's done. All right, caller, you are live on the air. Please tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Shalom, William, and shalom, Rabbi.
Shadman.
Shalom.
Hi. So, once again, thank you. It's been a while since I've called. I've got one question.
Certainly.
So I have a Jewish friend that I'm also having a quick dialogue with, right?
Sure.
So we are debating a lot of Christians and stuff like that. So both of us are just like destroying their stuff to quote the Tanakh and all that type of stuff, and how the Christian Bible completely mistranslates these verses. So one question I have, in Matthew 2:23, right? You know how it says that he will be called a Nazarene and stuff like that? I just want to know, is that anywhere in the Jewish scriptures, or is that just like Matthew's, like, whatever, I don't know. Is that just Matthew's blunder, or that's just my question?
That's a great question, and there's a great answer to follow. Go ahead and hang up now. You can tune in for your answer. Thank you, brother.
All right, thank you so much.
You bet. Rabbi, you've talked about this before. Take it away. Real quickly, before we do.
I'm sorry, what?
Before we do, there's some buffering going on. I know we've been having internet problems since we had the major ice storm. So if you experience some buffering, just sit tight. It should kind of come in and out. And if it turns out where there's parts of the video that's just not understandable, then I'll re-upload a raw copy from my computer. So guys, don't worry about that. Just we'll move forward. Rabbi, go ahead.
Well, William, we don't believe in that stuff. Buffering the vampire slayer.
Oh my God, that's a good one. Well played.
Okay.
Well played.
All right, so Shadman, let me tell you something. Okay. The problem. Okay, to answer your question quickly, that verse simply doesn't exist anywhere in scriptures. So you say that to a Christian missionary, okay? They invent a verse that doesn't exist, and then they create a story around that to make it look like he fulfilled a verse that doesn't exist. Okay, and he shall be called a Nazarene or whatever. Okay, first of all, and then the Christian response is, oh, well, it comes from the word for
Nazir or something like that.
Well, one of them is Nazir.
Right.
Nazarite is English for one who's taken the Nazarite vow. Okay, and they'll say, oh no, it's from the word netzer.
Netzer, yeah, right.
Okay, which is a not offshoot. What do they call it? Branch? No, I can't think of the word now. Old man memory. The point is that first and foremost, the verse says this was done in order to fulfill.
Right.
Okay, this was done in order to fulfill what the prophet said when he said, and he shall be called a Nazarene. No prophet ever said, and he shall be called a Nazarene. Doesn't exist.
I found something real fast.
Go ahead.
I just looked it up on just the very first thing that popped up. I've never actually heard this before, but maybe this is the answer you were looking for. The very first answer that came up was through Ancestry.com, believe it or not. Netzer, name meaning, right? And it says South German and Jewish Ashkenazic occupation name for a fisherman who used nets. I never knew that, but that was from.
That's so late.
I know, but it's ironic that Jesus was supposed to be the fisher of men. Anyway, not the point. There you go. Yeah.
Well, okay. So, at any rate, in Matthew it says, and he shall be called a Nazarene. Okay. Oh, that's why. Okay. So, yeah. So Matthew chapter 2, verse 23. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets. He shall be called a Nazarene. The text of Matthew chapter 2, verse 23 is explicitly saying that there is a prophet. And in that prophet's words, as recorded in the Nach, okay, in the part of the Bible where the prophets are, there is a verse that reads, quote, he shall be called a Nazarene. End of quote. It doesn't matter what word they think the word Nazarene is.
Right.
It doesn't matter if they think it's Nazir, okay, or if it's Netzer. There is no place in the Tanakh where any prophet anywhere said, he shall be called a, whatever that word is. Doesn't exist. So first they'll do smokescreen like they usually do. Oh, well, you see, he was the branch. He was the offshoot of David. It doesn't matter. First of all, and here I wish I could... actually, maybe I can. I'm getting really fancy in my old age. Okay. Keep me like you got me. Okay. No, that didn't work. Keep me like you got me. Share screen. Oh, this isn't Zoom. Okay, forget that. All right. At any rate, the word netzer has a tzadi in the middle, the TZ sound or TS sound. Like, I know this person and she really gets me. She gets me. So the ts of gets, okay, is the sound. That's a specific consonant letter in the Hebrew alphabet. That doesn't matter. Okay. Netzer is not the same thing as Nazarite, coming from the town of Nazareth. Okay, there are also problems with the town Nazareth.
Explain.
Like at the time of Jesus, Nazareth wasn't a town. Okay, there's a whole history of the establishment of towns, cities in the ancient world. Nazareth wasn't one of them at the time, 2021 years ago or whatever. So the verse is a joke. Okay, the New Testament, Matthew invents this story of him going into Egypt and then coming back and living in Nazareth so that he can be called Jesus of Nazareth. Oh, but he was born in Bethlehem.
Right.
And by the way, the idea that the Messiah has to be born in Bethlehem, of the 14 false messiahs that are easily named, okay, 2 of which are named in the New Testament, they had a following. They had believers, Jews who thought they were, in fact, the Jewish Messiah, who proved wrong because they didn't do what the Messiah is supposed to do. and Jesus, okay, and then 11 more, Jacob Frank. Not one of them, except the New Testament for Jesus, ever said that the Messiah had to be born in Bethlehem, so they created a story or had a story, or their person they thought was the Messiah actually was born in Bethlehem. So the idea that the idea that the Messiah has to be born in Bethlehem is also patent nonsense. Okay, but so he has to be known as, he's known as Jesus of Nazareth, but I thought the Messiah had to be born in Bethlehem. So they make up the story of Jesus being in Bethlehem. I'm sorry, Mary and Joseph being in Bethlehem when Jesus was born, and then going into Egypt, coming back to Nazareth, and that's why he can be named Jesus of Nazareth, but he was actually born in Bethlehem. Or, and that's Matthew's version. If you go to Luke's version, because only Matthew and Luke have a miraculous birth story for Jesus. In Luke, they start in Nazareth, come down to Bethlehem. That's why they need a inn, and there's no room at the inn, and they have to go sleep in the barn, and Jesus is put into a manger. Okay, the feeding trough for an animal. Okay, in Matthew, they're in their home city of Bethlehem. They don't need to go to a hotel. There's no inn because they don't have to go to an inn to be in the barn, to have Jesus born in a manger in Matthew because they're at home. And then they'll say, oh, well, Matthew is 2 years later. And how do we know that? Because Herod searched for, all the children born 2 years and younger. So it had to be 2 years. No, it doesn't. It's just every time that Matthew is speaking, it says, this is the way that Jesus was born, not 2 years after Jesus was born. So there are so many mistakes, so many problems with that narrative of Matthew and Luke that the icing on the cake is that they're trying to make up this story about Jesus to fulfill a verse that does not exist. Hope that helps.
Yeah, and
Chad, man.
That was actually really good answers for sure. Also, I think it's very interesting. One of the neatest things that I say it was neat then, finding out it's a lot less neat now, but and we do have a caller. Caller, I'm not ignoring you. I just want to throw this out there because it's connected. Because he was born in Bethlehem, they say the Messianics like really put some super spiritual connection with God on that by saying, he was considered the bread of life, and he was born in Beit Lechem, which means house of bread. And so they're like, ooh, wow, that's really, really cool, right? And then further on down the road, looking back at everything, it looks like if Jesus was the bread of life, right, and supposedly he died on Passover. Well, Passover is supposed to be unleavened bread, so it's really weird. He should be Don't take this wrong. It should be a cracker, not a piece of bread. So bad. That's so bad. Anyway, it's true though. It's all true. It's just got a weird sense of humor added to it.
See, but my thing, which is what I started to say before, going straight to his question,
yes,
is that you can argue interpretation of verses till you're blue in the face.
Yeah,
it's going to be a I said, he said, she said, stalemate.
Sure,
you're not going to get anywhere. We say it means virgin, you say it means young woman, another person will agree with me, another person will agree with you. It goes nowhere.
On that point, one great argument back, they first tried to make a good argument saying, well, if it's a young woman, of course it was a virgin, but that's totally wrong though, because young women back then got married at very young ages. If anything, she wasn't a virgin because she was a young woman.
Right. But my point is you can argue it back and forth and nobody's going to convince anybody. But right. If the Bible explicitly says, Deuteronomy 24:16, everybody's put to death for their own sin, that means nobody else can die for your sin. One verse, one line, it doesn't matter how they interpret the Hebrew Scriptures. You can't believe Jesus died for your sin if it contradicts the clear, peshat, obvious, literal meaning of a verse in the Hebrew Scriptures.
Quick rebuttal from the devil's adversary or advocate, what do you call it?
Yeah,
that was in the Torah, but the prophets came later and changed everything.
Oh, the prophets changed what God had spoken. So God changed his mind because God spoke through the prophets. See, it's just if the simple meaning of the singular verse is no one else can die for your sin, only you can die for your own sin, and that you don't inherit guilt from ancestors sinning.
Right. In
one verse, you can't argue with that. And there are times where, like on Facebook, what an amazing. I got to read this to you, William. This
Okay,
is
go for it.
This is so perfect. This is, well, it may be old, but to me it was new, and it's derived, okay, from. Come on, Devin. Thank you. There you are. So this is So this is even more important with the last week that we in Texas went through. Question: if someone from the 1950s suddenly appeared today, what would be the most difficult thing to explain to them about life lived today? Answer: I possess a device in my pocket that is capable of accessing the entirety of information known to human beings. I use it to look at pictures of cats and get into arguments with strangers. Perfect description of me.
That's insane. That's insane. Okay,
it is,
all right.
But it's
I'm going
perfectly
to
accurate.
let's
All right,
introduce
go ahead.
our next caller on Tanakh Talk. You're live on the air. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hello?
Yes, you are live on Tanakh Talk. How are
Okay.
you?
Yeah, my name is Aaron. I'm actually calling from Illinois.
Welcome, Aaron.
And my question, thank you.
Sure.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome.
My question is I continually hear atheists point to Exodus 21, specifically the scriptures that deals with slavery, as a to basically say that God condones slavery, and I tried to wrap my head around this, going over this particular.
Can I ask you a question?
chapter.
Can I ask you a question
Sure.
real fast? Is your perception of slavery in the Bible is it the same as your perception or understanding of American history slavery?
Basically, yes. By reading
Okay,
that passage.
great. Then this right here is going to completely set your brain free, and it's going to freak you out in such a joyful way. You're going to want to go back screaming to these guys. So go ahead and hang up.
Okay.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Get a piece of paper and a pencil and write some stuff down. But this is one of the things that bothered me deeply early on. And man, when I found out what this is all about, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I believed all that. That was crazy. You're going to love this. Okay, go ahead and hang up now. You can tune in for your answer. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks. This is so cool. I love
think his
this
name was
topic.
Andrew. I don't.
Yes.
I couldn't hear.
I believe so.
Okay,
So-
Andrew. I hope this helps.
Take it away.
Go take a look at the same chapter of Exodus that your friends are talking about, Exodus 21, and I want you to take a look at verse 26. Exodus chapter 21, their chapter, verse 26.
Sorry, I'm texting my sister who lives in Oregon.
Oh, tell her hello.
Hang on.
Okay.
I'll pull it up
So,
though. Let me give him a second.
If here, wait. I can do this. This I know I can do. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Exodus.
Did that work?
Oh yeah, I forgot you can do this. Yes. Now it's black
come I
right.
can't
It's
see it?
it's black right now, so that you I think you have to select once you hit screen share. You've got to select something. I don't know. It usually works. If not, I can make it work.
Screen
on my
share.
side.
Stop sharing. Screen share.
Okay, try it again.
Share computer sound.
No, not sound. Just your video.
Did that work?
It's trying to, but it's just a black screen. Go ahead and switch it back and tell me what verse you want.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You did a great job, Chaim.
Well, nah. Let me just get rid of share screen.
Okay.
All right.
No worries.
Sorry.
No, good.
Okay, so it's Exodus 21,
Okay.
verse 26.
All right.
This alone should give a response to your people, but they want to hate. Haters hate. They'll use this as an excuse, in my opinion. Okay. Exodus chapter 21, verse 26.
All
And
right.
if a man smites the eye of his slave or the eye of his maidservant, that it perish, the eye perishes, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. If he smite out his manservant's tooth or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let him go free for his tooth's sake. You tell me what kind of slavery, if the owner of the slave punches him in the eye and he loses his eye, he gets to go free.
Right.
What kind of slavery? Did the slavery in the United States with the African community stolen from their land, from their home, okay, brought over here as slaves, you honestly think that if a owner of a slave, okay, pre-Civil War South, hit their slave and knocked their eye out, that he was automatically set free? You think really that's the same kind of slavery that the Bible is talking about? That alone tells you that the kind of slavery talked about in the Torah, it has absolutely nothing to do with the kind of slavery that you find in the Bible.
Furthermore, the word slavery itself is a really bad translation. Very bad translation.
Yes and no. Context will tell you if the word is slave. But the concept, the kind of slavery that the Bible is talking to is more indentured servitude.
Right. That's what I mean.
Okay.
It's more of a servant, not a slave.
Right.
Right.
Let's see.
If put it this way, if the owner of a servant, a slave, or whatever, this is really just another concept that's applied to the halakha of how they're supposed to treat them. If the owner only has one pillow in the house, he has to give it to the slave. He can't keep it for himself. If he's got the last piece of food in the house, he has to give it to the slave. He can't eat it himself. So it's totally opposite. It's completely 180 degrees opposite of slavery in what we know of as American history.
Okay.
And it's in essence, it's kind of like.
A minute. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was thinking, in essence, it's a little bit like us making an agreement to work for a company for a year for an exchange for a salary. There's a lot of differences, but there's a whole lot of similarities there. We're not self-sufficient, so we have to make money. So we make an arrangement with the company, and we say, "Hey, I'll agree to work for you for a year." Now, there's other laws and stuff that are not the same, but the essence of the concept is that it's not that of abuse and stealing people and kidnapping and beating them and all this other stuff. Is
and by the way, Jewish law, biblical law, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I can't find it fast enough. But if a slave runs away from their owner and comes to a Jewish person, okay, this is a commandment in the Bible. You are not allowed to return the slave to their original owner.
Right.
Okay. Exodus 20, the chapter before the one you're talking about, is the Ten Commandments. In the commandment about the Sabbath, okay, Exodus chapter 20, verse 10, okay, the seventh day is the Sabbath to God, to the eternal your God. You will do no manner of work. You, your daughter, your son, your daughter, and your slave, and your female slave.
I really hate that word, slave, servant.
But the point is,
that I know they're not allowed to work either.
Translated as slave.
Yeah, right.
What kind of slavery in the United States gave their chattel, I own you like I own a cow, slaves, a day off of work?
Right.
Okay, what by the way, who goes free in the 7th year?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I know, right?
Who goes free in the 49th year?
Right.
Into the 50th year. Who goes free? The slaves. So even if you want to talk about slavery in the Bible and call it slavery, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. The kind of slavery it's talking about is, I owe this person money. I cannot pay it back. I am going to work for him for a year, and when the year is up, I go free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Or if I have a master and he beats me and I don't like him and I run away and I go to a Jewish man, that man is supposed to hide me from my owner. Okay? Do you know it took... Wait a minute, I know this. The Dred Scott decision in the courthouse of Missouri in St. Louis, by the way, my home state, okay, before they had to decide, now let's see, should we force everybody to return to the original owner, a slave who ran away? And as I recall, the Dred Scott decision is, yes, you have to return them, contrary to biblical law.
Right.
by the way.
Right.
So
another aspect that I want to cover.
There are better essays than what I am telling you about
Sure.
Jewish slavery, biblical slavery, that explain it far better than I am.
Well, another major problem that I had, I'm sure that this, Andrew, forgive us if we got your name wrong. I totally skipped it. Andrew. That is another huge problem for me was how they were to treat if a slave went in, by himself, and then he had a wife and had children, then he wants to leave, and the wife and kids have to stay there. I was thinking, that is so cruel. Now, I understand it now, but I didn't then. So this is something that would be helpful also, because I know that's a huge factor of part of the slavery issue that people have, and the answer in short, well, Rabbi, I want you to answer it, but did you hear the question?
No, say it again.
Okay, I didn't think so. So, please.
I thought you were going to give the answer.
Well, I was going to, but this is more your thing. I'm just.
No, you go ahead.
I'm a fill-in. Okay, so if someone goes in, first of all, the whole concept of servanthood was not something to benefit the owner necessarily. It was to benefit the actual servant. So whenever a servant is so stricken from everything and it literally is about to die, has no way to pay bills, no way to eat, no way to anything, then they're able to sell themselves to someone else so that the servant master can actually take care of them and provide for them in exchange for work. Now, if a guy goes in by himself and the owner already has other servants, female servants there that are already belong to him in this whole arrangement, and he says, well, I want to have children through this particular maidservant or whatever. Well, that wasn't his wife going in. That was an arranged thing that was given to him so that they could have kids that would be part of the plantation, if you want to call it that. I hate to use that word too, but and then if he happens to leave, then he leaves by himself because actually it was given by the actual owner. But if he came in and had a wife and children, then when he leaves, he takes his wife and children with them. So that was another huge issue for me. There was something else I was going to say, and I forgot what it was. Rabbi?
You were going to explain that. You were going to say you thought it meant this, but it meant that, is what I thought you were heading.
Oh, well, that was kind of the case. I mean, I think it was kind of an assumption already that it was talking about doesn't matter his marital relationship. If you want to leave, you can, but we're keeping your wife and kids. That's what it felt like when I read it. You know what I mean? But that's not how it is. So. And I still don't. There was one more thing I was going to cover, and I don't remember what it was.
Okay,
guys, phone line's open if you want to call in. Number's on your screen, 855-952-4253.
Yeah, but there are better essays than what I'm giving you about,
That's okay.
Talking about the biblical concept of slavery as opposed to American slavery.
Right.
It's just not the same.
And in addition to them being commanded to let them go free in the 7th year, not only are they supposed to let them go, but they're supposed to give them money with them to go because if this person should be a blessing to this, right? So, all right, yes, we got a comparison question. Rabbi Lee Johnson is asking, can you ask Rabbi about John 8:58 and Exodus 3:14?
Okay,
so
Steve, hi Steve. Also a Canaanite slave. And
actually,
then your typing messed up.
Let's do this.
Also, a Canaanite slave, Oku goes. I don't know what you're saying there.
Rabbi, let's take the caller first. Caller, first of all, caller, welcome. You're live on the air, but please turn down your computer.
Slave Oku goes. I don't.
Hold on, Rabbi.
Okay.
Yeah, just turn your computer down if you don't mind. Okay, good deal. You're live on the air. What can we do for you?
Yeah, hi, it's Steve. I'm sorry. I have fat finger syndrome. I just want really quickly just give an explanation here. I just don't want anybody to conflate the Canaanite slave. No. I just want to add this.
Oh, hello,
Steve.
Hello.
Hello, Steve.
I think I lost him. Okay,
Call back, Steve.
Phone lines are open. I think he was going to give a further explanation.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Yeah, Steve, call back, buddy. Yeah, I think that's his number right there. Steve?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no, that was...
Anyway, there's a difference between the Canaanite slave and what we call an Eved Ivri, a Hebrew slave.
Okay.
I just want to put it out there. When the Torah talks about knocking out the eye, that the Talmud it talks about the Canaanite slave. Also, there's a law that...
In other words, the non-Jewish slaves.
Right, non-Jewish slaves versus Jewish.
But even the non-Jewish slave has to keep all the mitzvahs, all the commandments that a woman is required to. In other words, they don't put on tefillin, they don't do the time-bound mitzvahs. In other words, they don't have to say Kriya Shema, say the Shema, because that, okay. But a Hebrew slave is on a, I don't want to use the word higher level, but there's a higher expectancy. If a master strikes his eye, he has to pay him punitive damages. Not just forget about going free, which I don't know if he goes free, but he owes him damages. Yeah, he actually, because you damaged him. And also by the Canaanite slave, if the master goes on a rampage and beats him so badly that he dies within 24 hours, and he's warned by 2 competent witnesses, the master's put to death.
Put to death, right?
In you know, if you watch the Django, that movie, when they were beating that poor girl with the whip, believe me, if he would have killed her, nobody's getting put to death, and no way. So the Torah is far from Jim Crow slavery, far from KKK land.
Right.
And again, unfortunately, slavery it is what it is. It was considered to be normal in the day. However, the Torah was always more compassionate than any society ever was. And that's why the Torah is true, because it's all about compassion. And even though slavery was allowed, it was not in the, like you said, it wasn't slavery like we know it. It was more of an indentured servitude.
Right.
But anyway, that's what I wanted to add. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for calling in. Appreciate
Steve,
that.
Good talking to you.
And so Stephen Roth, for the viewers out there, I actually have had a couple shows with him. We had our own little thing going on, but for the sake of some outer conflicts, we had to take them down. Maybe sometime this next year we can get it going again. We'll see. But absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
I got to tell you something. I have learned a lot from Steve.
Mm-hmm. He's awesome. He's a great teacher, no doubt. Very good. Okay, so there's no
telling him he needs to write that into a book.
Oh, yeah.
You need to write it into a book, Steve.
That's funny. Rabbi, tilt your camera down just a touch if you don't mind, or sit back in your chair or something.
Wait, I can't see my camera.
Oh, it's okay. You can you can just trust me and just tilt it down a tiny bit.
There you are. Tilt it down?
Yeah. Your chin is closer to the bottom than the top of your head is to the top. Keep going. Right there. Stop.
Okay.
It just flexed back down. I'll just leave it. It just like went back to its default position, which is too high in the air.
Better?
That's much better. Thank you. Yeah, very good. Okay, awesome. Okay. All right, now I got to fix it on my screen. I actually adjusted my screen to compensate, but I was running out of room, so I'll have to fix it back again. Okay, very good. Phone line's still open, 855-952-4253. If you're on the run, it's 855-95-BIBLE. So there you go. Okay,
I had a conversation with someone. This was on the telephone. I don't even know how to word it. At any rate, I don't even know how to describe this guy. And I kept saying, he kept telling me a verse in the New Testament. I kept saying, well, that's not in the Bible. And he couldn't comprehend. He couldn't get it. The Jews don't call the Bible that includes the New Testament the Bible.
Right.
Okay, I kept saying, but that's not in the Bible.
That's funny.
Say, yes, it's in John, blah, blah, blah. I said, but that's not in the Bible. And it's like talking over, just kept going way over his head. You just reminded me of that. I don't know why, but you did.
That's funny. All right. Yeah. Well,
anybody calling in?
No, let's look to see if there's any questions. Oh, there was a question. Hold on. I'm going to go back. John 8:58, and if a caller calls in, I'm going to put the caller on hold because we've already skipped past this once.
Wait. What? Give it to me again.
John 8:58.
John 8:58. What? Hot dogs?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Exodus 3:14. Compared to
wait a minute. John 8:48.
58. 58. Yep.
Okay. Jesus said to them, verily, verily, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am.
Gotcha. And now Exodus 3:14.
Exodus 3:14. And God said to Abraham, I will be what I will be, and thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I will be, sent me to you.
So they're trying to use, the Christians will use that, the Exodus to
because
confirm.
He uses the same term I am or I was, okay, before whatever I am. Therefore he's saying he's God. Really?
He's saying that I will be what I will be, which means I can be whatever I want to be. So Hebrew, Christians love that. Yeah, Christians love that, though, because that's them saying that God says right there, I can become a man if I want to. So now you have something to talk about. Go ahead.
All right, just real quick. Okay, first of all, the Hebrew is clearly in what we would call colloquially the future tense. Okay, biblical scholarship call it the imperfect. Perfect means complete and done. Imperfect means not complete and done, which we would just call the future tense. Scholars, they always get this whatever. All right. So God is saying, I will be what I will be. Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I will be, sent me to you. That is like the old kids joke. So a kid says, I'm hungry. And the other kid says to him, hello, hungry, how are you? As if the kid is saying his name is hungry. It's a joke. So God is saying, I will be what I will be. Tell them I will be, sent me to you. Okay, it's the same play on words. Okay, and then that name gets changed to the third person, okay, which is some conjugation of the verb to be, to exist, whatever, and future tense, masculine, because that's how Hebrew works, singular. So the best translation of the name of the holiest name of God is eternal, the eternal, not Lord. If I could figure out how to do drawing and whatever on the screen, we could do a whole 10 minutes of the show on that.
On what?
Okay.
On what exactly?
On the name of God.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Where do we get the word Adonai? Adonai is a nickname for God, meaning my master. So they took the vowels off of A-O-A, Adonai, A-O-A,
right,
and put them on the letters Yud, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey, because it creates a grammatical problem with the third letter, which is a Vav. Because you cannot pronounce, how do you, like the word gorgeous, the second G, I want you to pronounce simultaneously as a G and a J.
Right.
Well, you can't. Oh, she's really gorgeous. I mean, that seriously. So when you put the vowels of A-O-A on the Yud, the Hey, and the Vav, and the Hey, okay, it creates a difficulty with the pronunciation of the third letter because you're pronouncing it as an O at the same time you're trying to pronounce it as a Vav, not a Wawa, okay,
right,
but a Vav. I hate these people who are perverting my Hebrew language, the holy language of God, and making it Yahweh.
Right.
Okay, at any rate. So you come up to the word, the four-letter name for God, the holiest name for God. If you look at it literally, okay, it gives a difficulty of pronounce. Oh, I know. I'm not supposed to try to pronounce that. I'm supposed to say this other word from which they took the vowels in the first place, Adonai. Adonai, my master, like lords and ladies of the Old England. Okay, I can lord it over you. Doesn't mean I'm God. Okay, and whatever. Okay, so at any rate, Exodus 3:14, God says to Moses, when Moses says, what's your name? He says, I will be what I will be. Tell them I will be sent you. Wait a minute. Don't use I will be. Use this conjugation of the verb to be in the third person singular future tense. Okay, eternal. Okay. When Jesus, no, I forgot it already. Matthew, what was it? What was it?
Matthew 8:58. No, John 8:58, I think.
John 8:58.
Yep.
Right. So when Jesus says, Jesus said, verily, verily, truthfully, truthfully, I say to you, before Abraham, I am. Okay. So tell me something. Do you think God is wise enough to know in the year 200, okay, in the year 200, that on January 13th, 1953, that there's going to be born a kid who's going to be named Stuart Federow? You think that God would know that? Okay, right. So when Jesus says, before Abraham was, I was, could easily be understood, hey, if they can interpret our verses, I can interpret their verses. It means that God knew there would eventually be at the time of Abraham, God knew there would be a Jesus. Whoop-de-doo, that doesn't make Jesus God. Right. I am. Before, I say to you, truthfully, before Abraham, I was. Well, it doesn't mean he existed. It means knowledge of his existence was known by God, because God knows everything. It's just, look, again and again, you can take any verse you want, give it any interpretation you want, and you'll have your opinion, and the rest of the world can have their opinion. It's all opinion.
Okay, on your screen, I put the name, the spelling on the screen. So people can see it.
Wait a minute. Right. So
now you can explain what you were going to say.
Well, under the first letter, you've got the sound. Okay. Above the third letter, you got both the O sound, O, and underneath it, you've got the sound. This is where ignorant German scholars, Christian scholars of the 1800s, started pronouncing that as Yehovah. I wish you could see my arrow, my cursor, whatever.
So here, they could probably see mine. So there's the and then the Ho.
Okay, so Yehovah. But they would. What letter would they use to spell the Y sound? Is a J, like Yavol or.
That's where they got Jehovah, because they pronounced the Y into a J, right?
J replaces the Y. They don't know that the vowels come from of Adonai, my master.
Now, is it true or false that the Vav was originally pronounced W, like Wav?
Depends on who you ask, and my answer is I don't care.
Right.
Look, William, let me ask you something. Should we go back to the way Shakespeare pronounced English?
Right, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the people who want to show arrogantly how they know better than the Jews because they pronounce it the original way.
Right.
Do they do the same thing for English?
Right.
Start trying to talk like Shakespeare? No, they're just trying to be, we're smarter than the Jews. Okay, and it's really the only thing that's going on there.
Right.
So you're supposed to realize that when you see the vowels taken from Adonai, okay, and put them on the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey, then you're supposed to say the word Adonai instead of trying to pronounce the four-letter name of God. Which, by the way, in our prayer book, Siddur, in the Jewish prayer book, okay, we Jews call ourselves those who respect the name of God. Okay, why that epithet? Isn't that an interesting way to describe ourselves? It's because we don't put our God's name on bathroom walls. Come on, haven't you ever gone into a bathroom and see somebody put, believe in Jesus on the wall?
Right.
In a bathroom, they're putting their name of their God. Right. Okay, I mean well, whatever. At any rate, so we don't pronounce the name of God because it's holy, and we give it holiness. Do you remember? If you like that, I loved it. I thought they were brilliant. Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part in the Harry Potter.
I've only seen a couple of them, but I did enjoy it, though.
Well, I've seen them all a billion times, and it's not witchcraft. It's good against evil. The good always wins. You know who the bad are, and you know who the good are. It's very clear. Okay, whatever. So if people, whatever. Anyway, they say the one who shall not be named. Okay, and they say his name, otherwise you're giving him power. Well, yeah, we give power to God, so we don't say his name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just. God,
okay.
What do they say in the South, William, about bless his heart?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Bless the little hearts of these Christian people, because they don't get a lot of things, but they always think they know better than we do because they'll take take everything we can and pervert it. All right, go ahead. What's next?
Okay, we've got time for one more call. I've got to make a phone call literally at 8 o'clock, and it's 10 minutes till. That's going to end us about 5 minutes short, but we're going to take this next caller.
So 5 minutes. We'll do 5 minutes.
Okay,
and
cool.
We'll be off.
Okay, very good. Okay, caller, you're live on the air. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Well, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Is the devil the way to debunk Christianity? If the Jews in the Old Testament know that the devil existed and God never let them know that he was man's mortal enemy, and it's a later invention, it's not a good way to prove that Christianity is wrong.
Hey, is this Dwayne?
Yes, sir.
Dwayne, do me a favor, turn your computer down because I can't hear half of what you're saying. I'm hearing you and the computer. And just start from the top if you don't mind. Good to hear from you again, by the way.
Oh, do you understand my question okay?
Actually, we couldn't hear it because we were hearing the computer repeat things in the background, and it was just as loud as you were. So go ahead and start from the top.
Okay, I was just wondering, the Jews never knew about the devil, about being man's mortal enemy. So if God didn't let the Jews know about him, is that a way to show that Christianity is false? It's a later invention?
So what shows that they're false is that they ascribe deity to an entity other than God. And I'm not talking Trinity, okay? Forget the Trinity. You got God and you got the devil. And in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, I think, I'll have to look that up. The word theos in the Greek of the New Testament is used, 2 Corinthians, I think it's 4. Yes. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. In whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of those who will not believe, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, same word in the New Testament Greek, Koine Greek, should shine into them. So what they're saying is that the devil is the god of this world, who blinds the eyes of people, preventing them from seeing the glory of Jesus, because Jesus is the image of God. So in the same verse, they're using the word theos, like theology, theos, for the devil and for God. So if the devil is supposed to be the God of this universe, that's called polytheism. That's not monotheism. So even without the Trinity, just thinking of Jesus, start over. I keep doing this, even in forgetting the Trinity, calling the devil a God who competes with God over human souls, you now have two gods, and that's called polytheism, not monotheism, and it's therefore wrong to begin with. It's idolatry to believe in anything as a god other than God, like 10 Commandments. Okay, so at the outset, the way they look at the devil who competes with God over human souls, okay, which is just, it's the most ridiculous, okay, William, tell me his name again. I can't remember.
On the phone?
Yeah.
Dwayne.
Sorry, Dwayne. Old man memory. Dwayne, can you take something of mine? What?
He said no problem. Go ahead.
Can you take something of mine and sell it? No, you cannot. So if God has my soul, how often does the Bible say, the soul, all souls are mine, saith the Eternal? Okay, real quick, Ezekiel 18, repeatedly, a few times. Okay, all souls are mine, saith the Eternal. Okay, if God owns our soul, can I sell my soul to the devil if God owns it? If I own my cell phone, can you sell my cell phone? No, you can't. You don't own it. So the whole idea of the devil fighting God over human souls makes no sense. Mm-hmm. Okay, and the idea of making the devil into a god inherently is called idolatrous polytheism. So it's not just the fact that the way the Satan, not the devil, but the Satan is described, See, Christians use devil and Satan interchangeably. Same word, same meaning, devil, Satan. But in the Tanakh, okay, in the Bible, it describes the Satan as an angel. He never fell from heaven. How can you have evil in heaven? Okay, rebellion in heaven comes straight out of Mesopotamian idolatry. Take a look at Athtar, 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 the god of the underworld who tried to defeat Baal and was thrown out of heaven and made the king the ruler of the underworld. Sound familiar? Okay. How can you have evil in heaven? So the whole issue of the Satan in Judaism works for God, not against God, to find out what the truth is, like a district attorney or prosecuting attorney who has to get permission from God, from the judge, okay, to do a sting operation against human beings to see if they'll really hold to God's morality and ethics.
So, Dwayne, another one you can take with you as well as far as disproving Christianity. Psalm 146:3 says, "Do not put your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help."
Thank you.
The New Testament has Jesus listed as the Son of Man over 80 times.
Yeah, don't put your trust in the Son of Man, and then they'll ignore Hebrew and capitalize.
Right.
Daniel talks about a son of man. Am I the son of man? Yes. My father was a man, so therefore I'm the son of a man.
Right.
Son of man.
Well, Dwayne, I hope that answered your question for you, bro.
A person who is a human being.
Dwayne, did that help out for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. All right, man. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for calling in.
You got 3 minutes.
See you later, bud.
You got 3 minutes.
That's funny. All right. Let me do this right here. Good deal. All right, man. Well, that was a good show.
You got 3 minutes.
3 minutes for finger dancing?
No, 3 minutes until you got to be on the phone with somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got you. Right. Got you. Yep. That's a good call right there. So with that said, guys, be sure to subscribe. Oh, by the way, I found out something today. When you subscribe to the YouTube channel, not only do you want to turn on notifications, but usually when you turn on notifications, it'll give you 3 options to choose from. If you don't choose any options, then you're probably not going to get a lot of the notifications. So what you want to do, because since I don't post a lot of stuff, pretty much everything I post you guys want to see, so turn on notifications and select all, so that everything that I do, every activity that happens on YouTube will actually come through your email or some sort of alert for you, okay? So subscribe to the YouTube channel, share these videos, and definitely this one. If you like this video, if you like what we're doing here right now, then definitely click the like button. We had 65 viewers, and there's only 28 likes. So the more guys that the more percentage of you guys are actually liking these videos, it helps the algorithms on the searching through YouTube. So it's going to be very helpful for that. So, and yeah, so that's pretty much it right there. Okay, good deal. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. It's been fun. Rabbi, love you. It's been a blast always.
Love you too.
And we look forward to seeing you guys same time, same place, Hashem willing.
You got 1 minute.
Next week, Rabbi.
Yes.
Oh no, Purim is actually on Friday, Saturday. Okay, we should be good for Monday.
No. Purim is Thursday night, Friday.
Oh, Thursday night, Friday. Oh, okay, cool. Right. Thanks for the clarity.
Thursday night is the Megillah reading. Friday morning. But
okay, we're clear then.
Friday night. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, very good. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great one. We'll see you soon. Bye. Peace. Got to get the finger dance in before I change screens. Get her done. What's up? Later, folks. Peace.
חשוב